Money, 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 money. Why does every one of our conversations have to remind me of a song when I don't have a singing voice? You know the people that you follow on social media and they're like they have it all because not only are they funny and they're great storytellers, but then they have the voice of an angel. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. But you're thinking at least you don't sing, Cal, since you know that you don't have that voice. No, I still do. And then I started off like that. So you guys want to run? Please don't run. We're going to talk about money today. We're going to talk about paying bills. Oh my gosh, I could have thought of so many better songs for bills. Should we start over? Let's not. Okay. We're talking about paying bills. We are in a magical practice with Rhonda Byrne right now, and we are devoting 28 days towards an intentional gratitude so that we can not only feel a shift of our personal beings into a more positive vibrational state, or if you don't want to use those words, just to feeling better and more joyful, and also at the same time acknowledging that wherever we spend our energy and the majority of our time, we are attracting that same energy back towards us. So when we choose gratitude and joy and kindness and love, we get more and more of that back. And today's practice is about money again. So there's three different money practices throughout the 28 days. And this one is going to be about the bills and the expenses that we have. Because many of us, just even unknowingly, when we go to pay for something or pay bills, we're complaining up here internally, or we're actually complaining out of our mouths, and with that negativity we're bringing more positive um poverty in, where we're basically saying, wow, I do not want to pay the money for this. I don't have the money for this, or I just don't want to, right? And then it's like, okay, so like let's give you less money then because you don't really want to pay this. So let's just provide you with less because you don't really want to pay it. And then we'll provide you with even less because you don't want to pay it. That's that universal law of attraction, right? As well as our opposites. Okay, I'm not going to remember that one just off the top of my head, but let's dive into the money here. What we're going to do is look at where we're spending our money, and instead of having that like feeling about giving the money away, about losing quote unquote that money, about what we're receiving for that exchange, because that's what it's all about, right? We just went into the magic ingredient and we were talking about all that had to occur for a human to have a granola bar in their hand. And then when you think about that, because that was a streamlined thought, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of people that had to do all of these different activities to eventually get that one bar to the right place for you to be able to grab it and buy it. And maybe it costs you $1.50, and you're going through and you're like, oh, I have to pay this $1.50. And instead shifting that and your thought process, thinking like, wow, all I have to do is grab out $1.50, and all of those humans did all of those things, and I get to buy this granola bar. Do you feel that energetic shift? Do you feel that how much differently that feels? So this could be in your walk of life of the daily things that you go out and you pay for. And instead of, you go out to eat and you're like, oh my gosh, did you see how much the bill was? And this is a very confronting one to me because this tends to be me. And I really have to catch myself. Like, how the hell does it cost $25 to go eat at Chick-fil-A for a meal and like, what is happening? Right. And instead, I have to like stop myself and be like, okay, one, are you choosing? Do you enjoy those foods that you're getting? You're choosing to come here. So don't complain about it. You chose to come here. And let's think about all of the different things, the creation of this company, what it stands upon, how far back it goes for us to have this chicken, this delicious, moist chicken nuggets and the fries that my kids love and the ice cream that like brings them such joy. And instead be like, thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me, provide these guys with $25 and for them giving me all of these different delicious things, all of the time, work, effort that was put into the end game of us being able to have this. It just feels different. And in such, when you're grateful for giving money, then the universe is going to be like, okay, she wants to keep giving this money. You got to keep giving her more. Let's get it. Like, it's going to just show up. Don't figure out how it's going to show up. Trust the process, because when we get to the next practice, it's like, it's pretty amazing what starts to happen. Now that's on a smaller scale. This is really where Rhonda dives into your bills. I don't know if you pay the bills or if your spouse pays the bills, but you're going to connect with them either way. If it's not usually your job, let's go back and connect to what our bills are. And looking at each one of those things that you've paid, and again, connecting with what you're receiving for the payment. And instead of griping or whining or complaining or bitching or moaning, saying thank you. Here's my electric bill. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the warm showers we get to take in the morning. The fact that I can charge my computer and my curling iron and my dryer and my pan, or my fry pan and my Instapot, all of these different things that I plug in throughout the day. I didn't invent electricity. If I had to rely on myself to create electricity in my home, me and myself alone, I would not have any of those things. I don't know about you guys. I'm not Einstein. Don't know what I'm doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for getting to pay that bill. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what we've received on the other side. If you have a mortgage, right? The mortgage bill comes in, you're like, okay, you want me to smile about paying that money, do you, Cal? I do. Think about if you didn't have the ability to get a lender to have the mortgage and you had to have that cash up front in order to live there. P.S. Your girl right here knows what that's like after our bankruptcy and losing multiple properties after 2008, 2009, and trying to figure out where the hell we were going to live because we could not get a loan like that because it was so challenging. Do you have a loan where you get to live in a space you didn't have to come up with, 300 grand or 800 grand or whatever that was up front? You didn't have to hand over that cash. That's so cool that you got a loan and you get to live there. It hits different, doesn't it? And you go through today's practices to go through 10 of your last bills. So whatever that looks like, wherever you need to pull up a statement, go through 10 different things and you're going to say thank you. And if you can write this down on the bill or like email the bill to yourself and say thank you, paid. Like, man, thank you, paid this baby. Instead of just paid, I used to write paid across my bills. That's when we did a lot of stuff like in person on paper. And now it's shifted to thank you, paid. Now, let's say you don't have your money. Like you're like, I'm behind on my electric bill. We don't have that one. Then you're going to say, thank you for the money. Again, don't worry about how it's going to get to you. Just say, thank you for the money. You set it aside, whatever your process is. And when you do have the money to pay that bill, you're going to say, thank you, paid. Let's talk about medical bills for a second. I'm in the medical world. Who doesn't like that? You're thinking about wanting to say thank you for a medical bill and you're like, oh my gosh, but like, look at what they charge. Hundreds. I can't even tell you how much money has been involved in the process of my son's treatments over the last year and a half. It is mind boggling. And shifting your energy and your focus when you look at those numbers and saying, wow, like, thank you for the hospital, the doctors, the equipment, the science, the research, the history, the pharmaceuticals, all of the different things that had to come together for him to get his treatment. Then all of a sudden you're just like, wow, thank you. Thank you so much for all those humans. And what we're doing here, you guys, again, is when you're telling the universe, meaning like your energy that you're pouring out there is thank you, paid, like thank you, I was able to put this money out there, then you're going to receive more money. It was really fun. One of the first times I was doing this practice, my daughter takes all of my books. I love it. Like I'm always like, hey, babe, do you got this one? She's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Do you have this one? Yep, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's no problem. You keep it. I'm gonna get a new one. I'm so proud of you for reading the magic, right? And I don't know what we were doing, but she called me out. I think maybe we were like going out for coffee or something. And she was like, Mom, you need to shift your thinking. Thank you so much that you get to pay that for the coffee. I was probably buying her something too, right? So she knew what she was doing. She's great at it. Thank you so much that you got to pay for that, because now we get this experience. Because if you're telling the universe like that you're not thankful, you're not going to get more. And just out of nowhere, we're not even talking about the book. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, she's right. I knew it. I was out of practice. And how cool to have a young human in your world that dives into things like this. So when you're doing this magic practice with us, the reminder, you're going to do your 10 bills, say thank you, paid. If you don't have the money, thank you for the money, and wait for that to come in. And maybe you make this a regular process. I encourage you to. But don't forget, the more that you talk about these things, the more that you share about them, the more that you're going to reiterate the concept into your own mind and being, so it becomes who you are. So this really is just a natural practice. You're not having to force it or fake it. It just becomes you. And that's where this like magical shift of positive energy starts to occur. The person that you're just like, oh, I always want to go be around X, Y, or Z. Like, I always want to go be around them, because they're just, you probably don't even know. You're probably like grabbing onto that energy, right? They're just so positive. You can be that person. And the more that you practice, the more they talk about it, the more that you share about it, the more that you interact, the more that you're going to gain. So interact on our Facebook posts, interact on the videos or the podcasts, share different things, talk to these concepts with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, with your parents, and start to be part of the process of change, not just within you. It's going to help you, but it's also going to help the world around us. Okay, you guys are doing fantastic. We just finished magic practice number 9. Remember, there are 28 of these practices, and you are welcome to join us for any or all of them, or at least grab the book, The Magic, and do it on your own. If you're sick of my voice and my singing, that's fine too. I am doing these different videos and podcasts to help support you guys in the process, reiterate everything a little bit more, offer you a little bit more perspective around the situation, and a little bit more conversation, so that we can get the most out of the magic. You guys, I love you so much. Thank you for joining us. And I want to remind you that perspective reveals miracles. Okay, we'll talk.